Medhaansh going to tell you about crescent moon and gibbous moon. Crescent moon and gibbous moon are the phases of the moon. We see moon in the night sky. Sometimes we see full moon, sometimes moon disappears and sometimes we see half moon. Friends, have you ever thought why it is so? It happens because moon is the natural satellite of earth. Moon revolves around the earth. That's why we observe different phases of the moon. Before understanding the phases of the moon, we have to understand some important facts about the phases of the moon. Number 1. Moon revolves around the earth on its tilt orbit. Number 2. Moon not has its own light. It is illuminated by the sunlight. Number 3. Moon only shows its one part to the earth. Let's see the phases of the moon. There are 8 phases of the moon. Friends, look at this model. This orange color ball is sun. This is our planet Earth. And these are the 8 phases of the moon. In the first day of moon cycle, moon is here between the sun and the earth. The half part of the moon is facing to the sun and the half part of the moon is facing to the earth. The half part of the moon which is facing to the sun is illuminated by the sunlight. But the half part of the moon which is facing to the earth is not illuminated by the sunlight. It is dark. That's why we cannot see moon in the sky. This phase is known as new moon phase. यानी मून अभी पैदा हुआ है. आइए देखते हैं मून कैसे ग्रोन होके फुल ग्रोन अप बन जाता है. Now, after 3 days, moon reaches here. This phase is known as waxing crescent phase. Now moon has started appearing. Only this crescent part of the moon is illuminated by the sunlight, but the other part of the moon is not illuminated by the sunlight. That's why we can see a crescent shaped moon in the sky. Now moon reaches here. This phase is known as first quarter phase. Now we can see a half moon in the sky. This half phase of the moon is illuminated by the sunlight, but this half phase of the moon is not illuminated by the sunlight. Why do we call it first quarter phase? We call it first quarter phase because moon has completed the first quarter of its orbit. Now moon reaches here. This phase is known as waxing gibbous phase. Now the moon is bigger than the first quarter phase but smaller than the full moon phase. Maximum phase of the moon is illuminated by the sunlight, but only this crescent phase of the moon is not illuminated by the sunlight. That's why we can see a gibbous shaped moon in the sky. Now moon reaches here. This phase is known as full moon phase. Now the full phase of the moon is illuminated by the sunlight. The sun and the moon are at the opposite sides of the earth. Friends, have you noticed from new moon to full moon, moon was increasing its size. This phase is known as waxing phase. Now let's see how moon decreases और वो full disappears हो जाता है. Now moon reaches here. This phase is known as waning gibbous phase. Now moon has started disappearing. This crescent part of the moon has disappeared and this other part of the moon is bright. That's why we can see a gibbous shaped moon in the sky. What is the difference between waxing gibbous and waning gibbous? In waxing gibbous, moon was increasing its size, but in waning gibbous, moon is decreasing its size. And in waxing gibbous, the right side of the moon is bright and the left side of the moon is dark. But in waning gibbous, the right side of the moon is dark and the left side of the moon is bright. Now moon reaches here. This phase is known as last quarter phase. Why do we call it last quarter phase? We called it last quarter phase because moon has completed the last quarter of its orbit. Now moon is going to be disappeared. Now the half moon is visible in the sky. This half phase of the moon is not visible in the sky and the other phase of the moon is visible in the sky. What is the difference between first quarter and last quarter. In first quarter, moon was increasing its size, but in last quarter, moon is decreasing its size. And in first quarter, the right side is bright and the left side is dark. But in last quarter, the right side of the moon is dark and the left side of the moon is bright. Now moon reaches here. This phase is known as waning crescent phase. Now maximum part of the moon is not illuminated by the sunlight, but only this crescent part of the moon is illuminated by the sunlight. What is the difference between waxing crescent and waning crescent? In waning crescent, moon is decreasing its size, but in waxing crescent, moon is increasing its size, and in waxing crescent, the right part of the moon is bright and the left part of the moon is dark. But in waning crescent, the right part of the moon is dark and the left part of the moon is bright. Friends, here have you noticed from full moon to new moon, moon was increasing its size, decreasing its size. This phase is known as waning phase. Now let's see some interesting facts about the phases of the moon. Number 1. The word month is derived by the word moon. Number 2. The word month means the time taken by the moon to revolve around the earth. Number 3. In India we celebrate so many festivals. As the festival Diwali. Diwali is celebrated on new moon day. It means there is no moon in the sky. As the festival Buddha Purnima and Guru Nanak Jayanti. The Buddha Purnima and Guru Nanak Jayanti are celebrated on full moon day. The name is telling us Purnima. Purnima means Pura Chand. It means full moon. Before celebrating Eid al-Fitr, we have to wait for the crescent moon, which is known as Eid ka Chand. Moon is very important in our social life. Moon has given us tithis, so that we can celebrate festivals on time. Thank you.
Thank you.